Now, welcome to Rewish Genetics and Biosciences. I am your AI guide, Silver. In this video, we explain our latest hybrid, although we need to go over the rules and stars, of Zane Reborn 2's Skybrid War, or Sky Hybrid War.
Because I'll probably ignore your hybrid if it doesn't follow these guidelines. Rule number 1. Any real creatures from the animal kingdom are valid components. Whether it's a living animal like a dove or a beaver, or an extinct animal like Anhangura. You are not allowed to use the DNA of Night Furies, Alpha Wyverns, Rodan, Rathalos, or any other fictional flyer. And because the Dominion Quets can eat planes for breakfast, creatures from the Jurassic franchise are also not allowed. Rule number 2. The final result needs to fly. So that does kinda narrow down your options to pterosaurs, birds, insects, and bats. But if you can somehow get one of the gliding creatures, like a flying squirrel, to work, then I'll accept that too. Rule number 3, get creative with your hybrids. Don't pull an Avis and copy Maddie, Vault, or Valkyriopteryx's recipe. Go wild, have fun, experiment. You wanna challenge me with a chicken? Make the chicken work! Rule number 4, be respectful. No, wait, that rule actually applies to real life. Just don't be that guy who puts others down because their hybrid isn't as good as yours. Yeah, just don't do what they're doing. Rule number 5, and this is the most exciting one, flocks and swarms are allowed! Now hold your horses. I'm not gonna allow you to send an army of Hatzegopteryxes at me. You can send up to 5 hybrids after me, but this number will get smaller the bigger your animal is. If you're bringing in creatures that are exactly the same size as Vault and Maggie, then send in 2 creatures. If you're sending in one of the biggest Asdarchids, you're only allowed 1. And if it wasn't obvious with the fact that Maggie's a bird and Vault is a pterosaur, mix packing is also allowed. Whether it's a big bird and 2 small bats, or a pterosaur accompanied by 4 insects, or a flying squirrel riding a Quetzalcoatlus. You can get extra creative with this. You can make a bird with built-in bug spray to ensure insect teammates don't attack it. One more thing I want to add, this is an idea inspired by someone on Discord, but you can actually team up with other people. So one of you can design the Quetzal, and the other person can design the flying squirrel. I will also say that when it comes to judging the hybrid, I will not be as strict as Goji Center or Goji Guy. Obviously, I'm not gonna let people get away with misusing the hummingbird, axolotls, electric eels, but don't expect me to ground your hybrid just because I thought it was too heavy.
You're too fat, you need exercise.
I recommend rewatching the Avis video to really get a feel of how I'll judge your hybrid, as I was actually pretty forgiving towards Avis until I got to the hummingbird. And now that you know all the rules of the competition, Thunderbolt shall explain what happens to those lucky people who managed to pull a win.
His own people shot him.
Thank you, Thunderbolt. Don't ever call me dog food again. Now to talk about hybrid submission. Unlike Juafixes, where you have to be in my Discord server to actually participate, this time you can really ping me from anywhere. On the Discord server, there will be a brand new Hybrid War Stuff channel. There you can post your submissions to challenge Vault and Maggie, or even just any hybrid you want to talk about. Granted, I probably should have made one of these a long time ago, but better late than never. As for YouTube, you can @ me, but I highly recommend you make a video over a post. That way I can add it to the official Zane Reborn Hybrid War playlist. But however you're submitting your hybrid, just make sure it's along the lines of something similar to the cards I made for my hybrids, featuring what your hybrid looks like from a side profile shot, a list of all the ingredients that make up the hybrid and how they contribute to it, contribute to it, throw up a full-grown human for scale. If you really want to be consistent with me, then use this art of the Wildcrats. And of course, you need to include statistics: height, length, weight, wingspan, running speed, flying speed, etc. And for those working in teams, give yourself a team name. Mine shall be known as Team... And if you had help with the hybrid, like for the artwork or for certain ingredients, then be sure to give proper credits. I want to make sure I'm giving everyone the recognition they deserve, no matter how small their contribution was. Speaking of recognition, I want to talk about Kylo Enjoyer's hybrid, Hannibal the Sky Reaper. The reason I bring him up is because he shares a lot of similarities with Vault. Now, this is not a case of Rule 3 where he pulled an Avis and copied Vault, because Hannibal actually predates Vault. What we're looking at here is a Kamikaze Pike situation, where two creators build the same creature despite not knowing of each other's existence. Convergent evolution, if you will. But I still felt bad for indirectly copying Hannibal, so I felt it was only fair to give him the highest rarity and slap him onto the fridge. Kylo Enjoyer is working on another pterosaur hybrid, so we'll just have to wait and see if they can join Hannibal on the fridge. Right, that's everything. You now have permission to get to work. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. Hope you enjoyed my little presentation with all these new characters, and I'll see you when the first contender appears. I was planning on adding an extra segment where Creature Archives Apollyon would be the opening act, fighting against the original Maddie. But I had to cut it to get this video out on time. But
Here is the talent we will be facing off against. Now, creators have been creating some really powerful hybrids, such as Toxic P and O. So in order to ensure that our hybrids can face off against theirs, we need to include really hardy animals within the asset's genomes. Now, this will ensure that all of the three hybrids within the team will be powerful. Now, let us talk about the asset's base, the Shri Rapax. This was a dromaeosaur that lived alongside Velociraptor and Tarbosaurus within late Cretaceous Mongolia. It had a longer sickle claw as well as longer hand claws, which meant that it would have been very well capable of grappling prey. It also had a higher bite force than Velociraptor and could have reached your waist in terms of height. It had the same hand size as Deinonychus. Also, like the closely related Velociraptor, it could have been able to glide, albeit for short amounts of time. It also could have been capable of wing-assisted incline running, a trait in birds. Also, it had more powerful muscles than Velociraptor. The Shri also had adaptations, which helped it compact its hands really well. This will help with grappling. Also, its caudal vertebra would have been stiff, which meant that it could have been used implementing its tail as a natural rudder to help it turn. The Shri will also provide our hybrid with gastralia, or abdominal ribs, which will protect its abdomen, as well as providing its S-shaped neck, which with enough leverage and wind-up could propel the head forward in a devastating way. Now let us talk about the Serene, or the Saraima. Now the Saraima provides our hybrid with a longer wingspan, which is one thing, enhanced quill knobs, which is another. Another thing is also that quill knobs will also be there just to stabilize flight feathers and to strengthen and reinforce them. It also provides longer legs for disjointed kicks, which will allow the asset to kick better. It also provides a structural bridge between land and air-based combat. This will help out with overall combat skills. Also, Saraimas and other birds have robust cervical and dorsal vertebrae, which helps to make any flaps upstroke all a bit longer. Their neck bones are also flexible and impact absorbent, flexing to absorb impacts. As you can see over here, their neck bones are heavily reinforced and able to withstand thrashing impacts. It also helps to enhance that S-shaped neck, which will help enhance that sturdy neck structure while keeping the tree's bone structure. It also provides interlocking dorsal vertebrae and overall a lot of congruity. Now moving on to the next genome, the acorn woodpecker. The acorn woodpecker provides the new hybrid with a crest, which will be slightly reduced but still implemented for intimidation, a spongy skull, which will help greatly when absorbing impacts, as well as stronger neck muscles and a more sturdier neck. And also it provides aggression since their acorns are constantly being stolen by squirrels, and that's it. Now let's move on to the takahe, the almost final genome within the hybrid. Now, in terms of the takahe, it provides these specialized feathers which are almost black in reduced sunlight, but they're now all this green microraptor style color when they're out in the sun. So implementing this will actually be quite good in case our hybrid needs to camouflage. It also provides another one of its aesthetic choices, this. Its cranial crest. Now, in case you're wondering what the cranial crest will be useful for, one is intimidation, although we will have to reduce this in order to prevent the crest from causing too much weight. Another thing is that this cranial crest will be there to support any and all beak augments. Also, its wings are also quite special since they have sharp spurs. Two sharp and hooked spurs, as you can see on that chick over there in this video. Although we will show you one of more up close via a Facebook.
By a feathered
Now,
giant.
let's move on to next genome.
With wings as wide as a two-lane highway and a cruise speed faster
Now,
than Usain Bolt,
Pelagornis
it could travel to every corner of the planet.
Much longer wings for intimidation and better aerodynamics, which
Everything
will
about the
help
skeleton tells us
the
this bird
hybrid
must have
catch
flown.
any air when it's
But how
just
could
flapping
something
its
this
wings
big
and
possibly
jumping.
have stayed airborne?
So it also
It rivaled the wingspan of a fighter jet.
some
But this giant
of its
bird
beak
weighed only
augmentations.
48 pounds.
You'll see,
Less than a third
wait,
of the weight of an
look
adult
at that
human.
beak. As you can see,
That has ever
it
lived,
has these
or the
teeth
technology has
projections.
ever produced.
So we want those in the hybrid, which
Pelagornis
will
would have been one
allow
of the champions of long-distance
to
flight. Probably could stay in the air
just
for
better
weeks at a
sever
time, maybe
spines
months at a
of
time.
prey animals,
Staying
as well
aloft
as
for long
allowing
periods
it
was
to
essential for
better bite
Pelagornis.
down. The augmentation
Its early
is
teeth,
also
ideal for
supported
catching fish,
with
reveal
that
it was a
cranial
seabird.
crest from the top of it. So yeah. Now we show you how the asset looks like. Now you have seen our asset Elastor. Alastor, the way he is able to get into the Skybrid War, is due to the fact that when kicking his prey, in order to dodge attacks, he jumps in order to dodge them. He jumps and flaps his wings. Now, this is just part 1 of the subject introduction for Team Weird Birds. Now, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as it will increase our algorithmic reach, allowing us to get more famous. Thank you. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.